Boom. Thought you was going to watch some boxing, didn't you? Well, you are, because we're going to cover some amazing highlights from the 2021, or maybe they're doing it like the Olympics and calling it 2020 National Golden Gloves. It is one thing to be a part of this boxing world as a fan, but I'm telling you, it's an entirely different beast whenever you're on the other side. And what we're going to cover today is making it really clear to you what goes on inside of those nationals. So as you can see right there, those who missed the beginning of the clips, we will re-air that part and we will cover several amazing things. But before we get started, welcome to the show, and we're going to get it in today. And this is highlights from the National Golden Gloves and our weekly Q&A. We're going to cover a couple of questions that stood out to me ever so gently this week, and I had to lead off the show with it. And as we go further in, you're going to get to see some of the amazing talent on the upcoming sweep into the sport of boxing. Now that we can't really rely on those who are at the top of the food chain today, we got to look at who's coming tomorrow. So let's take a quick look after you make sure you check in and let me know where you are watching from. Because now we're going to pop up some of the geniuses that happen to drop their comments and questions in the feed. So let's see what these boxing geniuses are talking about. I might take a second and special shout out to my brothers. Paul, my man, now in TSOB. Make sure you put your hashtag TSOB out there, brother. Good to see you. Welcome. I know it's super late there or super early. So, ship ahoy, mate. Welcome. Thomas, Coach T out here in New York doing it big. I just have so much admiration, man. You probably attended more shows than anybody. So special shouts out and many blessings to Freeport Boxing or Fitness. Holla at your boy. That's my man, Coach Thomas. What we're going to do is pop a couple of questions up and make sure you take the time to drop yours because we're going to answer questions. Now, we have a full show today, and I don't want to get too caught up in that. But I do want you to know that we got your questions. And if we don't get them this week, we make sure we get them this coming up next week. So first question. Now, Rob Tate asks, he's 40 years old and is it too late to start boxing? And the thing about it is this. I usually, or some of the guys who are on the page, and I call them admin. Some of you who are loyal and you're there on the page and you take the liberty to respond to some of the people who comment on the page, the boxing geniuses, I call you my admin because your page stars, you're the loyal followers. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you one of the loyal, well, I don't know if he's a real loyal follower, but he's a person on the page. And I want you to take 1 second and realize this. When you're advising people that ask questions like this, you're giving them the initiative to go do something that you don't even understand yourself. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen because this is a very dangerous sport. This is not tennis. It's not any of those other sports that demand extreme physical abilities. This was the answer. Jonathan Laughter, Barahana said, no, it's not. I don't think so. So he was saying it's not too late to start boxing at 40. You've never laced them up in your life. That is what we are dealing with in the age of social media. Everyone has a voice. We got to be careful about advising people or encouraging people to do something that will literally get them hurt very badly. If you're young, you get hurt very badly. If you're old like that, your body's already declining physically. No, it's not a good idea to try to compete. Taking up boxing is a great thing to do. I've worked with ladies as old as 85 years old, and that works great because it works with your motor skills and mechanics, and it keeps your brain sharp. And of course, they use boxing to combat Parkinson's disease. So for that reason, yeah, to compete against the likes of these guys who are we're about to watch in the amateur ranks at the highest level of amateurs? Absolutely not. You get in trouble with boxing, not what you know, but the things that you don't know. You learn the jab, but you don't realize coaches can see they have a lot of experience. Everything that you don't understand about the jab, you're focusing on technique. They're focusing on countering everything you don't know about throwing the jab. All right. So if it wasn't so complex, boxing wouldn't be called the sweet science, and it would not be hard to counter. I mean, it would be totally too hard to counter if you had a perfect jab. But jab is all about taking your hand away from your face. And the minute you take your hand away from your face, a counter is coming. Okay, that's what true experts do. So it doesn't matter if you throw it perfect. It does not matter. I don't care what people say. We prove it over and over again. People get knocked out throwing the jab. So keep that in mind when all of you aficionados feel like you know everything about boxing, because you don't. Everything you can show me that you do right, I can expose what you do perfect, because this is the only sport that even with perfect technique, it's not enough. Take that with you. Next, this was a doozy. All right, and then we're going to show you the highlights, which are smoking, and it's going to give you a very good, matter of fact, we're going to skip that, and then we're going to go, no, we're not. We got to watch this. We got this Goro in a Geisharia, in a Gashra. Wow, that's a good one. It's hard to see it too. But Goro says, this style, speaking about the peekaboo, this style is more physically demanding on the fighter than the opponent. This style doesn't age well. Now I have to really pick you apart, because it's all about understanding. Once again, you boxing aficionados, if you do your homework, you'll understand how to comment. And I'm going to pick your comment apart. This style is basically a posture that you take in boxing. If you decide to take a posture hard, then it's going to exhaust you. If you decide to take a posture soft and balance with your energy, then it's going to be that way. But the thing that you lack the knowledge of, and you do, hence is why Roger Mayweather always said it to you out loud in your face, you don't know shit about boxing. I'm sorry, you don't. It's not what you do think you know. It's what you don't know that's going to run you over by an 18-wheeler truck. This is why I do this show, to give you another way to look at things. A style isn't demanding on you. How you decide to execute it is demanding on you, because you're going to see that Mike Tyson, hence is why most people say, well, Mike Tyson peekaboo, Jose Torres used a peekaboo, Floyd Patterson used a peekaboo. Nobody's talking about how exhausting it was with them. Why? Because it's how they dosed it out over a fight. Floyd Patterson can fight. All right. Now let's see who responded to him. One genius to the next. And if you're out here, make sure you put yourself out here, Mr. Goro. And here is Jaleel Sutton, which is why Tyson wasn't as dangerous if you could get him past 4 rounds. Maybe it wasn't the style. Maybe it was the cocaine, drugs, mushrooms, and sex with many different women prior to fights. Because alcohol, the last time I checked, doesn't enhance your body's mechanics and output. And Tyson was on plenty of all of that. Okay? How about knowing the facts before you posting comments on a page that people actually come to learn? This is what I mean. Be careful about knowing everything when you don't know anything. about nothing about the real side of it. The style, Andre Ward disputed it out well and was able to fight 12 rounds many times. 32-year-old, he retired, undefeated. No one's saying that on the comments. If you've done your homework, that's in present day. He just retired several years ago, so he used the peekaboo in so many facets. Canelo Alvarez today knocked out Sergey Kovalev in 11th round. Fought Triple G. Showed you different defensive postures. Peekaboo. Manny Pacquiao, 42 years old, using a peekaboo. All of that. That's peekaboo techniques. Excuse my French. Understanding what these guys are doing. Just because the coach ain't saying it over and over like Kevin Rooney, peekaboo style, peekaboo style, peekaboo style, does not mean guys aren't using it. All right, so let's just check everything, man. This is where you get the facts, because I don't get paid to not tell you what's the real deal. And I do know anything you've done for 3 decades and 4 if you count just studying, you got to be an expert at, and that's what it takes. And the next thing is we're going to congratulate my guy, but we're going to show you some highlights, and make sure you continue to drop the questions because I'm going to pop your names up here. Special shouts out to my man Calvin Sneed from the School of Boxing in the building. It's all good, man. I know you out here, brother. You guys are always doing the thing, man. It's good to see you, man. I'm glad you guys are hanging tight. Coach Colazar out here in Everett, Washington. TSOB, the members are always representing and showing up, and we're doing some major things. We just finished in the Olympics. Now we're in the Nationals. You guys have to feel proud to have that hashtag TSOB, the School of Boxing, the Institute of Higher Learning. We're not a gym. My man, Joe, what's good? Special shouts out to Joe. I'm going to read your comment when I get back. I just got to get started with the stuff. Paulie Paul in the house again. Special shouts out to Paul once again. Enoch. My man, Amos. We got some interesting people. I'm so glad that there is a Facebook so we can learn all of these names. I can't see that. Coveting. What's up, brother? YouTube's in the building. Thank you, YouTube, for stepping the game up. Now let's see some really, really good highlights. And what you're going to see here is just a couple of fighters that have laid it out on the line, and it's just going to give you a rendition of what you saw, and then it's going to end off with our guy. Special shouts out to Glenn Hudson, Coach Glenn Hudson from the School of Boxing, who's representing not only Major Moves Boxing, the School of Boxing, a fraternity of the new generation of extremely educated coaches. So special shouts out to you for getting through this round last night. Get ready to tune in tonight too, because we're going to air the fights live on the page. Let's see what it looks like. Let's check out some of the highlights from this amazing. And as you can see, he's in his Bruce Lee stance. And this is just what the Nationals are about. If you belong there, you will have a great chance to get to the next level. But if you don't, you will get out of there fast. And this is an example of what happens in these rounds, the early rounds. You can get to a point where you're dominating in your division when you're in your local and regions. Because people get walkthroughs, but at the Nationals, people coming to eat. Look at there, the steady jab. What happened in this fight is the guy in the white corner with the white headgear, his coach called for an overhand right. So when they call for an overhand right, the red corner blocked. and they threw the overhand right. And see, these are the things that we make sure we got a code for our punches, and they stop the fight, and rightfully so. This was a bad situation. It was the very first round. This guy has been sacrificing everything that's surrounding him just to get knocked out. And this is what will happen when you're uneducated as a coach, a trainer, yelling out numbers, telling them to throw punches. The other guy can also hear you too when you're screaming out this stuff. You got to have a system, like, while you guys are figuring out that we are the ones that develop the system. These guys are really, really going out here and putting their stuff on the line. Godspeed. I'm going to take a couple of things.
At the highest level of competition, golden.
Now, what you're going to see right now is an understanding of what to expect, what the judges expect. So I want you guys to take a look at this. This lasts about 35 seconds, and it's going to give you some pointers and understanding of what the judges are looking for. I'm going to pop off the screen, and then I'm going to pop back in. After you see this, what you're going to note is this game takes a lot of layers. You have to respect it, and watching it on TV does not make you an expert. You don't think you can get into a rocket ship and fly when you see a launch at NASA. Football is NASA. It's rocket science. It's ongoing for the people who've been in it forever. Let's see what the judges are looking for and things that you got to take note. I didn't just post this on the page because our guys still fighting, and I made sure that all the coaches that was there were not people on this page. This is what coaches are looking for. I mean, the judges.
At the highest level of competition, Golden Glove, Nationals, doesn't matter. Judges are looking for these things. Innate defense, so bracket, blocking, walking forward, and then the ability to go into the shell, close the distance, head off the line, body, head shots, stepping, lead here, touch body, head, bracket. These things are the most innate things for judges to be able to pay attention to at the highest level of competition. Coach Bradley signing out, the Institute. How you learning? See you soon. Peace.
This is our guys winning last night, dominating. Special shouts out to Coach Glenn for doing a tremendous job and stopping them. Maybe 3 or 4 knockdowns, something that will totally make you realize there's levels to this game. You feel me? This is not a game, and we don't play. And if you have any holes in your boxing skill set, don't step in the ring. Because we laugh and joke up here on the page, but we do not play boxing. And if you think you can fight, we're going to peel your ears off. All of these guys came thinking that they were going to be the guy to leave and that they could be that special athlete coming back to the town. But if you ever go up against one of the guys in the school of boxing, one of their fighters, you're going to learn very quickly that it can be the thoroughbred in most situations, but the guys who are being groomed in the school of boxing, it's the jockey, the person riding that kid, because he's educated in a process. Hence is why I make it clear to you that what you're watching are demonstrations. There's lessons of being taught how to do, not shown, but taught. So there's a humongous difference between the two. That's why we give you free download. So seeing the footwork, seeing the peekaboo, like today on the last video that was posted today, there's a peekaboo opt-in download for you to see a lesson. The difference between lessons and tutorials and demos is totally something that's advantageous to you. Demo just make you conscious that something is in existence. So every video you've seen, 90% of you have never seen those type skills, at least not done in that way, because that is coming from a lesson. So it looks a certain way and it has a certain particular type cachet. Just keep in mind, we give you the lessons. People don't realize we give you downloads so you can understand what a lesson looks like, different than a demo. So under this video on the page of Master Boxing is a video link for the peekaboo, which most of you are always talking about learning, but all you're doing to learn is going over to YouTube and pulling up videos that's only going to get you a warm, wet mouth. As soon as you start tasting the food, it goes away and on comes an ad. And that's what you got to realize. We're trying to make it clear to you, even as people who are not our customers, who are not our trainers or coaches, our job is to uplift your IQ in the sport of boxing for the future and the sanctity of the sport. Let me see who else popping in right here. Is that my man Glenn? Coach, what's up? There go my guy in the building. And he ran into embrace the box step. Yes, absolutely. So that little segment, Coach Glenn, is when I saw him, he was anxious. I saw the energy levels, and I said, okay. It took everything in the world for me first not to call and contact you, but I told Stacy, now he got his big boy pants on. You're in a big arena. All of the grooming was to prepare you for that. Now this next round, focus on your bracket blocking. That means the judges will acknowledge what he's doing, like, oh, his defense is real. And then after he decides to come on and counter that, keep your man walking forward behind the bracket. And what that does show the judges that the opposition is inferior. And then you get behind that shell, under, off to the side, body, head. 2 and 3 punch combinations only. There's a recipe you'll learn to win in fighting. When you're around it as long as I've been in, and we've lost early on, and I'm so maniacal, and I've done so many of the right things that could not continue, because I know I'm an anointed soldier in everything I do. But when it comes to this sport of boxing, there's levels to this game, and I put in 80,000 hours. Now you calculate that out over 3 decades, you will realize how serious you got to be about this sport. And when these guys have just, all you do is watch ESPN app and Showtime app, and you got all the answers on these feeds, you got to wake up. But Glenn, all he has to do, because he has the right mentality. I love some of the highlights. There was a lot of things that it depends on what the other guy does, but always have your guy go out and let the judges know before they even strike that the other guy's inferior, because bracket blocking, those judges can see that. That's a mentality. And when he starts to walk forward, grunt, walk him down, because now you're at the highest levels. When I say levels, I mean it's only one higher level in the amateur, and that's the Olympics, which we just had. But you're at the highest level of competitive boxing inside of the nation. And that is the national golden gloves and the POW tournaments. And that's what you got to show them, because they see boxing all the time. Now all your fighter has to do is show them the language, off to the side. And when he throws those punches, make sure he's off and he's digging, boom. In that third shot, the judges know this is different. We're not used to seeing clean, effective punching. So Congratulations, man. It was a beautiful performance. He has nothing to be, there. I want to do this better because you perform according to what you're up against. So, bracket block, walk forward, run them down, off to the side, body head, boom. Third shot, most guys aren't ready for the third shot. Okay, always remember they never ready for the third shot. Most of the time, they're not ready for the second. All right, because they get a little cocky as you get up. That's why when you learn punch fractions, everything's going to be in code because one of the young men, his coach was yelling out overhand right, overhand right. The highlights I just showed you guys, and the other dude threw the overhand right because it was their form. So thanks, coach. That's uneducated coaches. That's coaches that throw a towel on themselves, go to the gym every day, unprepared. Our guys go to the gym with the curriculum to box, the 6-week training camp, the how-to process guide, all of these different, the art of sparring. You know about that art of sparring. That ain't just nothing but the smoke. That takes you through the titles and victorious because the other people just aren't that educated. And it's all boiling down. You got to be a nasty person and you got to have that ferocious fire inside, but you got to be educated too. The hippocampus has to be loaded with information. The frontal cortex, which is the reading material, boom. The savage package, the physical, the skill set. All of those things come together, man. Now, before we come back and start popping it up on the screen, let's have a word. And Jamie Grips, I'll get you. Let's have a word from our sponsor. This is going to be some very, very informative stuff. So enjoy it, and we'll have links in the comment boxes for anything that you want to jump on. And today is Hump Day. Hump Day hookup. So everything's on sale. I think there's a very, very good bundle of boxing skills together.
We're about to get into unboxing supplements. People want to know, what does it do? So, mushrooms being the purest form of nutrition, wellness, and overall being conscious of what you're putting in your body. Here, you have the lion's mane. Very good for cognitive function and health. Like I said, if you're in anything, the cognitive function, that motor skill, that posit science allows you to operate functionally. So that's brain push-ups. You got to make sure you supplement it. Next is your cordyceps, which is great for energy. Lacking energy, falling asleep at your desk, that's perfect for you. Before you go into the gym, before you're going into work, before you're getting prepped for your weekend, it does not matter. Number 3, reishi, immune system and sleep. Uber important that you taking something to help you calm down at nighttime. Get off the computer, put your phones down, get your mind in the right place, get yourself to sleep. That's a perfect one for me. Number 4, turkey tail, immune function and a healthy gut. You know you got to jump on that because if you're having a tough, rough weekend, you're missing meals, it's uber important that you get something to supplement that really helps that gut because that is where it all starts. Number 5, shiitake. This is your hair, skin, and nails. I'm going to be on this. I want to make sure I look fresh for you guys on camera. So that's it, man. I'll teach you and share with you how each one of these have impacted me. If you're interested, make sure you just click the link, jump in. This journey here is for everybody. We don't want anyone left and no stone unturned. The Biohacker Stack is coming your way. Until next time, Eric A. Bradley, I'm signing out. Continued blessings at God's speed. So long. Peace. Number 3, reishi.
Boom. Yo, that stuff is the real deal. Some of you have seen Kamaru Usman of the UFC sponsored. So those mushrooms If you anxiety stuff, it's great, man. That video is fly to death, man. I love it. Glenn, special shouts out to AJ is watching you live. Yes, AJ, great performance, man. Much love to you. Continue to focus. See the big picture. Always start with the end in mind when you go to sleep at night. That means don't let any distractions take you away from anything that you're trying to achieve, man, because the only reason your coach, guys like myself, and those who surround us are at the level they are is because they are non-distracted. They're focused, and things happen to people that are focused, as Dak Prescott, as people like Tom Brady, as the guys who did it better than anybody, Sugar Ray Leonard. Special shouts out to Roger Leonard, Sugar Ray Leonard's brother. His birthday was yesterday. Mad love. He follows, and we respect all of the legends that dedicate their time to watch our shows. So special shouts, AJ. Let's work, man. The Nationals. It's a beautiful thing. Keep focused. Remember, shine when you have your time in the limelight. That's far and few in between for people to have an opportunity to do. So make the most of it and take what's yours. TSOB. We in the house. Everybody is the peekaboo. Yeah, so as I go back to this young man who was talking about this peekaboo and how you use it, man, you got to learn how to use what's necessary because different situations require different postures. So, Jamie, I see you. Had a new walk in this week who is a YouTube boxer. Yeah. Hey, man, they're everywhere. We got your back, though. We got your back. We're going to make sure that what is required is going to happen. And it's unfortunate that he was shocked to learn what real boxing is. And he still don't know. It'll take him years upon years upon years upon years to acquire the information because it's not what these people think they know. It's what they don't know that's going to bite them in the end. Because when I look at these, the thick of this is all about knowing that you're willing to live and sacrifice everything. And it does not, just because you do a skill does not mean you've learned the skill. If I show you how to do a step, does not mean you own it. We have a coach right now who just won local, regional, and now in the nationals, who's still focusing on, he just posted this right a minute ago. All right, I'm gonna show you something, and it matters, man. Let me see the screen. So for right here, the box step is one of the things that is the first thing you learn in the gym, and that's what he's saying. He ran into a real one. Embrace the box step. You know, you don't get, you guys want to learn the things further. You want to learn all the other menu, the stuff on the menu. You want to get into all of this stuff. You're not a teacher yet, so you don't need to have all of that. All you need is to have your basics down, your foundation solid, and be able to execute that to the max. What you can do when you talk about that fighting life is that basic form of boxing allows you to fight like you would if you're in a real dog fight on the block. You can do those, add that foundation, and that person who you are inside has something to fight out of, which is a balance. And so you don't worry about all of that other stuff. And if you get to the point where you're training and you're learning more techniques, remember, as you're learning, other stuff is leaving because your brain can only have and hold so much at one time. So the fundamental box steps. This book right here is my Bible. And I got a book called the Bible, but this is the one that no matter what, this is just the Master Boxing Skills Training Regimen. This is the basis of what we teach for our school. So the guys have a process in the grinding out their muscle memory. So when they get in the ring, they're going to be a problem because they're going to know how to use the basics of boxing, the foundation. So you don't box with your hands, you box with your feet. And this is our footwork guide. Where is yours? Your entire guide. This is about 60 pages of footwork training drills. All right. You got your basic punches, your counter punches, your defense, your sparring techniques that you use to get better at it. And then you go into your 6-week training camp, which is how you learn how to put it all together, including your conditioning. So when it comes down to it, when you put the 3.5 complete decades of really learning and understanding and stuff, and people talk about that life and they don't know nothing about that life. We want everybody to learn. So, be humble, because the highest level of martial arts and the sweet science is humility. And you have to learn how to do that. That's a skill set, like listening, right? I just ran through a short segment, which I'm going to run back through. But for those of you who have not subscribed to the website, do so you can experience what it's like to learn lessons. And the lessons are going to be the things that show you the difference between demos and tutorials. When you get that, and we just give you that for free, don't talk that boxing if you didn't even take advantage of just subscribing so you can get some stuff. Because that's what we're here to do, man. This isn't all about a sales machine. This is about an educating machine. I had an end game. When my mentors broke all kinds of records, my record was to educate more trainers and people at large in a massive amount about the sport of boxing, so the value of boxing will be where it needs to be without all of these fugazi games and trickeries and things that pretend and make the game pretend that it's a certain way. No smoke and mirrors over here, Master Boxing. Go to hell with that. We do this stuff for real. And our focus is to make sure that you have what's necessary to even just sit back and chop it up with people, because this is a sport you lay your life on the line for. Remember that. This is not a game, and you do not play getting punched in the brain. So hands up high, elbows tucked, chin down, bend your knees, sit down in your stance. Feet at 12 and 2, and let's get it popping. This is boxing. I want to show you this last little clip after I read a couple more comments here. Let me see what you got here. We are not a gym, champ, Frank. We are an institute of higher learning. To learn from us, you have to go and get into our course and learn how to learn. I don't care what level you're on. There is nothing above this level. Over 120 plus years, this thing was founded on and elevated and put into my hands. And you have to learn how to learn. So for that reason, you go over to the School of Boxing online, get all of that information. We have a boatload of lessons, video lessons. We do live feeds. And what else we do is make sure we prepare you with the training kind of guides that you have to use. And those guys can speak to it. And you learn how to learn. And if you're married or if you got a girlfriend, she's going to be totally neglected because you're going to be in there like a fiend. And these guys can speak to it. Because once you get that stuff, that knowledge, you don't have to look at YouTube anymore. You don't have to look at these cats telling you what to do. All these other trainers who are trying to do similar things to what we're doing. But my end game is different than theirs. All right. Because we can have tens of thousands of people in our school if we just let anybody in. You fit or you don't. All right. So that's kind of where we reside with that. So we're not a gym. We are the institute of higher learning. That means you can't go to a gym and learn what we teach, because we write the books for the people who are in those fights that you're watching on pay-per-view. And everybody knows it. We are the engine behind those brains. All right. And we can back it with evidence, but we don't need the credit. But I'm definitely not going to let you not know what you're signing up for and who you're signing up with, because our focus is to make sure that we elevate the game. That's the end game, and it's going to be like in colleges. So until that happens, we started the Institute. No more gym life. My guys got gyms. Let me see. Oh, yes. Almost missed the live. No, you ain't got to miss the live, baby. You can always rewind it back and tag a friend, because we want to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to lay what they think and speak your opinions. Make sure you have your questions down here, because even if they don't get pulled up this week, we do go through the gallery and do it. But what we're trying to do right now is support our brother Glenn, Coach Glenn Hudson out in Arkansas. Major moves, boxing and fitness. These programs, these guys are doing it big. We're proud of you in the School of Boxing, and you're doing amazing things. And all of the other coaches are inspired by your dedication. And I know your wife and family are feeling just just loaded and full. And anything you need, you can hit me. But I'm letting you walk this walk, because you got it, man. You are going to be the Angelo Dundies, the Emmanuel Stewarts. You are going to be the Custia model, because you believe in the process. And that's what it takes to be at this level. That is no doubt. So I'm just here making sure that if you got questions, I got you. If you and your team need something, we got you in the School of Boxing. Now, the Institute of Higher Learning. So many questions. I see you, Daryl. Make sure you put emojis by the questions, so when I scroll, because sometimes it's like 90 or 150 comments and I don't know what's what. I don't have a lot of time on my hand these days at all, but I try to make sure I get my people special shouts out. Consider themselves a master. Yeah. People always, everyone wants to learn a little. You look at 3 minutes of TV and you're a master at, whatever you're watching, but that's not the case. And more people know you got to have credentials. You got to have a resume. You got to be living it. Hell, screw your credentials. You got to still be living it, because if in this sport, muscle memory. Absolutely. Keon, just go up to the site, man. Our people reach right back out. If you have any questions, just do that. And the first thing I do is, there's a link. Go down to the link on the video below and get that free lesson stuff. And it's a nice piece, man. And we got footwear, we got heavy bag, we got peekaboo, we got mid training. All of these things have free lessons for you. Lessons, not freaking demos, and not sizzle posts. And that's kind of what it is, man. We're going to wrap this thing up. I can't wait to see the questions that I did miss. And all of you brothers, we love having you a part of the family. And get your son on board, and we got you covered. And you'll have a very shaky marriage. No, the truth is, man, you got to dedicate to this. You can have all the information, but you got to dedicate. All of our guys, Coach Thomas Himmelberg out in Freeport, New York, all of you brothers, man, Coach Steve Willis out in Hawkesbury, Canada, everybody that's in this school, man, is learning exponentially, and they are shoulders above anybody that's in their region, nation, whatever, because this has never been. As trainers and coaches, we never had that luxury to have this kind of, we've had videos to watch, but we haven't had a college, and that's what we are now, the Institute of Higher Learning. Reach high, stand on your toes when you're reaching high, and make sure that you have the end in mind. Until next time, that's all I got. Continue blessings. Remember, for those of you who are super curious, go subscribe to the website, masterboxingllc.com. There's free downloads for you to watch that are lessons, and that's what we're here to do. Nothing more, nothing less. If you want to purchase more, things are on sale. Today is like Hump Day Wednesday. Yeah, Hump Day hookup. Let me get that right. Links will be down in the comment box for you who need and desire higher learning in the sport. I got to rewind and play a little bit of this, and then I'm out. I love watching the Rocky shorts. Until next time, be blessed at God's feet.